Hi guys, this is editing Anna. I just wanted to let you know our audio is really funky in this video, so please just bear with us. We kind of sound like aliens. We're testing out a new program, but thank you for being patient and still listening. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, welcome back to Chronically Chill.
Hello.
I'm Anna.
I'm Ellie. Sorry.
As we
I got dizzy as
we
soon as
do.
I said hello. A wall of fire. If you catch us looking at Anna's laptop, that's because we can see ourselves this time.
Yeah. And you were using my phone, which we usually use, but we're using a different program than we usually use. So we're not sure how the video quality is going to be, even though it's still the same phone.
Correct.
So we should see. We shall see. Right, Milky?
The platform does say, what did it say?
But recording quality will be better.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't really know.
So we're holding them to that.
How's it been since we saw you last Thursday?
Not good.
Yeah.
I've had okay, because I think last week I talked about all of my ailments. I had a very ailment heavy week. Since we recorded last, I've had crazy vertigo, which I think is kind of my own fault, but I'm not 100% sure. But it was Sunday night, I believe. I had been out all day. And I think I had missed my medication for 2 days, and I hadn't drinking any water that day because I was just out like doing so much all day. I wasn't home at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then we literally like pulled up to the house, and I was getting out of the car, and I like looked down, and I was like, uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
And
Dang it.
then I got into the bath because sometimes if I'm starting to get a little bit of the dizzies, I can like catch it and like try to do something to
Mm-hmm.
like change it. And so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna chug a ton of water. I'll take my med because I didn't have it while I was out. So I'll take my medication and I'll get into the bath. And I was on a boat while I was in the bath. I felt like I was swimming,
Sailing.
yeah, on the great big sea.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so then I just had to get in bed, and it was a lot different. Well, not a lot different. It was a bit different than my usual vertigo. Usually it is like the spins. Like I'm watching the room go like this. And this time, and to go along with that, usually it's when I turn my head to like one side or the other that it starts happening. But this time it was just like I felt more just like disoriented.
Mm-hmm.
Like the room wasn't necessarily spinning, but it was moving. And it was really when I looked down. So it was just kind of frustrating because I'm used to the room spinning, and so I know what to do then.
Yeah. Right.
But this time
This
was
is the whole
new.
new. Yeah.
But I decided to pick up just like the generic Dramamine. What is that? Meclizine, I think
I
is
have
what it's
no
called.
idea.
And it's just supposed to, people who have vertigo say that it helps. So I picked that up. I haven't had to use it yet, but
Well, that's good to have. So.
yeah. So I guess that was my low. And then my high, I went into work yesterday for the first time in like 2 weeks. And I have like an hour commute to work, and obviously then an hour commute home. And so I have to leave my house pretty early in the morning, not super early in the morning, but early in the morning for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm always like the night before, like, ugh, I have to like,
Yeah. I have to wake up so early.
instead of
And
rolling out of bed at 8:30
yeah.
and logging on, I have to get up at 7. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God. But I had a really good day at work yesterday. And I just love to go and see my girls.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've talked about what I do before, but I have kind of two roles at my job. I am the marketing manager, but then I'm also like the client communications manager. And yesterday was like a full marketing day. I didn't have to do any training well, I did a little bit of training, but I just got to do full marketing. And so that was fun because when I first started with the business that I'm with, I was just doing marketing. So it felt like I was kind of like in my old role again,
Yeah, that's nice.
which is less stress and all that. And then, or you go and then we'll do basements.
I think my low, I've been having like crazy insomnia lately, like not going to bed till like 3 or 4 in the morning. Like my sleep score the other day was like a 39 or something.
Love.
I just like haven't been tired. I'm just like in bed. I'm like, well, this is it. Like, yeah. So that's about, but I did go to bed like earlier last night, which was really nice. I feel a little bit more well rested today. So I think just like that's my general low. Okay. So my high is that our friends, they have a Portland like community based group. Yeah. And it's called Portland Girls, Gays, and Theys. And they had their 1-year birthday on Sunday. So they had their anniversary event and they did it at Sea Grape, which is where we met them. It's the first event that we went to. And so we got to, I don't know, it was just like, I always love going to Sea Grape. That's my third event of theirs that I've been to there. But yeah, it's just always a good time. And
that is like, that's one of those places where like no matter what kind of mood I'm in, if I walk in there, I'm like zoned in a really good way.
Yeah. Like it's just always like a good environment and like there's always something new to look at. Like even if you like don't buy anything, it's like a really good place to browse and like look at stuff.
And the employees and the owner like are so warm and welcoming. Like at no point do you feel like you're in a retail place.
Yeah.
You feel like you're just like
hanging out
at a place that you're hanging out that happens to have stuff that there's.
Yeah. Definitely. And they had like at the event they had like a station where you could make like trucker hats and they had like permanent jewelry and they made hats. I made a pouch which she didn't have the pouches with her, so she's gonna ship them to me. Which was really fun. And then I didn't get any, I already have permanent jewelry, so I didn't get any permanent jewelry. But we like took a cute little picture together on the bench where we met them.
We'll insert it here. Maybe
if I can figure out how to edit. And then like
and insert the picture of the hat that I was going to make.
Yes, that was so funny. Did you get a picture of that?
Yeah.
Okay, you'll have to send it. But then also the hosts of this event, their names are Kaylee and Mariah. But then also our friends Tyler and Rachel were there, and someone from the Chronically Chill community, Lou, was there.
Lou.
And so yeah, it was such a good time. I just love being there, and I'm just proud of them.
I know. It's crazy to me that we haven't known them for a full year.
I know. April.
And yeah, I just feel like it was one of those, and I feel this often because I kind of talked about like I'm not like a casual friend person. I'm like we're besties or we're not. And this is the first time in my life that I've had like one close friend at a time.
Yeah.
And so like sometimes I get like social fatigue where like I have a social event coming up and like I just get stressed out because I'm like, I'm gonna have to make small talk and like I don't know, like are all my friends gonna be in good moods and like what's going on? And so going into that event, I was like not dreading it, but I was like really working myself up, like okay, I gotta like whatever. Parking, I was like,
parking over there is so bad.
And then as soon as I walked in the door, I was like,
yeah,
I'm so glad I'm here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's just, yeah, it's always a good time. And I can't remember if I already said this, but eventually we do want to have them on an episode just to talk about like how they built community and stuff like that. Because they host community, if you live in Portland, they host community events once a month or sometimes even more than that. And it's always like just literally the best people ever.
Yeah.
I always meet the most wonderful people there. Like we ran into Emily who like, because I met her at an event, now she goes to the same nail girl that we do.
Yeah.
And like, it's just, yeah.
It's a very fun. Like low pressure environment.
It's literally just hanging out.
We're not like going around doing like icebreakers or anything. No, you just show up and you just like
sit with a random person you've never met.
Yeah.
Like last time I went to an event at Flower Bloom that they did because they're sponsored by Flower Bloom, which is a coffee shop here in Portland. And I just sat by this random girl, Paula, on the couch. And now we like follow each other on Instagram. And I saw her on Sunday and I was like, I'm going to say hi. But we were like so social. We were like saying hi to everyone. So I didn't even get to say hi to her. And so I must send her a message. I was like, I meant to say hi. And she's like, oh no, I was like in and out. But yeah, like that's my high. It was just, yeah, and I'm so proud of them, and they're so cute, and they had the cutest little cake, and they had
So cute.
and they were like so thoughtful and like made sure they got like gluten-free like stuff and
I
like
know.
dairy-free stuff, and so yeah, I
They
feel
like
so
the
lucky.
best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my high doing that. And then basements. Do you have a basement?
Did you say you're low?
Oh, yeah. Insomnia.
Insomnia. Yes.
My basement I already talked about with you. The conversations Ellie and I have before the podcast are like, they would be good content, but they should not be content is the same thing.
Yes.
So I'm sure she doesn't listen to this podcast, but even if she does, whatever. There's this girl I went to high school with, and I follow her on TikTok. And usually she just posts like silly TikToks every once in a while, and they're cute, and I always like them. And then she's just as cute. We weren't ever friends in high school, but I have said this before when you talked about like you're either like a bestie or you're not.
Yeah.
I'm like a friend to everyone.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh,
We're
friend from
opposites in
high
that
school.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because we've always been friendly with each other, even
Yeah.
though we like never hung out outside of school, I've always really liked her and follow her and stuff. But as a person who is always going to be in recovery from eating disorder, she recently like started posting weight loss TikToks, and which I don't want to like, you get to choose what you do with your body. But the messaging behind them is like really
Guys, it's rough.
bad. Like it's really fat phobic, and like it's just hard to see as someone who had a binge eating disorder and hearing someone be like, when you're full, just stop eating. You have to have the willpower to do that. And I'm like, that's just like not how it works.
No.
And like, yeah.
I feel like, yes, like the huge thing with those videos that we watched were that messaging, the fat phobic messaging, but also just the like lack of education as well. That like a lot of the things that she was saying, like, I'm doing this to lose weight, it's like, okay, well, that's not like guaranteeing that you're going to lose weight.
Sustainable.
And
like there was a whole comment about like people in Europe are skinny because they eat less food. And which, yes, like, yeah, if you order food there, their portions are smaller.
Mm-hmm.
But also like people in Europe walk everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
People in Europe, like eating is more of like a social event for them. So they like maybe are like not eating as quickly as we would be eating. And so, yeah, it's just, I'm like, that's not the only reason that people in Europe are skinny, but also are people in Europe really that much skinnier? You know, like, and I know like with statistics and everything, like obviously America has a different statistic than European countries, but it's just like, there's so much more. I just hate when people attribute this is this and this is why, because I'm like, there's so many factors that go into that. So
where's the nuance, people?
Yeah, what I talked about last week, nuance and critical thinking. I keep looking at the laptop, but it needs to be the camera. Anyways, so that's my basement, is like not her as like an individual, because I still like think highly of her. I don't think like she's a terrible person now that she's posting these TikToks, but seeing that messaging from someone I'm familiar with, and it's like, I know if I had a conversation with them and I was like, hey, like I have a binge eating disorder, like this messaging's really harmful.
Yeah.
I don't think they would be like reciprocative to that.
No.
Also, like when I was in that headspace, that would not have changed anything if anyone told me that.
No. And actually, I just saw a TikTok the other day, and it was a girl saying, your like people who make like recovery posts of like, this is what I looked like when I had an eating disorder, and this is what I look like now. Like that also isn't helpful.
No, it's not.
Like,
yeah, I like always try to be so mindful of that. And like the other day when I posted all my close friends and then I got reported for somebody thinks you need mental help. I really try to not post like any of my eating disorder pictures online. I think there's like one picture on my TikTok where it was like the like all my social media posts of like, you never know what's going on behind. So like there's one photo of that, but like I don't want to post that. Like I don't want to be like, this is what I looked like. I don't know. Yeah. And also like, if she ever listens to this, she's beautiful. She looks great.
She is.
She is so beautiful. Yes. And there's so much more to you than what your body looks like.
Yes.
Like I said, like I always saw her TikToks were cute and funny because she's cute and funny.
Yeah.
And so I literally haven't probably ever thought a day in my life about what her body looks like.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like, obviously I can say those things to myself, but so that's a really long-winded basement. But basically, like, and it's not her, it's just like the messaging that we have as women, as Americans, as people who have social media, that there's something wrong with you and you need to lose weight and fix it and you have to be skinny.
Yeah. I think also, like we were saying earlier, I feel like this is also especially a hard age to be struggling with your body because, like, your old body is like your high school body, which is, for most people, like, as a mid-20, late 20-year-old person, you shouldn't have the same body that you did in high school. And so I feel like it's just hard to be in a space where you're constantly taught to compare yourself when that's the comparison is something that is actually, like, pretty much unachievable.
Well, yeah, and like I don't think we were told, like, I actually had a coach tell me this, which I always think about, and I do think it was very helpful. That was like, even if you worked out like I did with cheer, I worked out like 3 hours a day every single day. She's like, even if you worked out like this for the rest of your life, your body is still going to change.
Yes.
Because you get older and your body changes.
And especially as women.
Yeah,
like,
especially.
we're supposed to be changing.
Yeah, and so I just don't think a lot of people get that messaging of, like, you could be doing what you always have been doing. Your body's still going to change. Your metabolism's going to change. Like, everything's going to change. And that's not a bad thing always. So, yeah, I think it's hard to see that as someone who cares about her. And it's hard to see that as someone who's recovering from an eating disorder for the rest of my life, basically. Like, that's just my basement, is that anyone has to feel like that, and then they feel like they have to speak on those things in a way that's very negative. And they're like there's so many comments of people agreeing with her, and it just makes me sad that so many people think like that.
Yeah.
I'm not hating the player, I'm hating the game.
Literally.
Okay, basement, what's yours?
I couldn't think of the one that I had earlier, but today is 4 years since I purchased my car.
Oh yeah.
And so my basement, we're bringing it back to the people that stole my car. I've been thinking about them.
The Kia boys. Slash girl.
Crazy. I don't know.
I did post a poll on Spotify for when you're like, would you go to your PCP or a dermatologist?
Oh,
for your bump in your neck, which I know doesn't sound related, but it is kind of related because Ellie did a news interview and that's where the comment was.
Yes.
And a lot of people said dermatologist, but I agree with you for PCP.
I just feel like I get the mindset of dermatologists because they're going to be better about, like, getting it so there's not a scar and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, like, the bump's there. I've been living with it. I don't really care if there's a scar. I also have never been one to scar super easily.
Yeah.
So it's just like, whatever. Yeah. And it's cheaper. I get in quicker.
I also have never been one to care about a scar. I do try to be very sensitive because I know people do care about. I personally think scars are really cool.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously I don't think the circumstances that led you to get those scars are cool.
Right.
But I'm a person who likes cellulite. Like, I think that's cool and unique. I think scars are cool and unique. Like, I think birthmarks are cool and unique. So, like, when I see scars, I'm like, oh, slay. But
I have been thinking about uniqueness in general so much lately. And I know that this is kind of a discussion online right now, but, like, why are there actors playing in a period piece with lip filler and cheek filler
and
ears? I miss, like, people looking like, ever since people have started talking about that online, I've just been noticing, like, everybody has chin filler.
Yes, everybody
has a little bit, like, probably like half a syringe or a syringe of lip filler. Everybody's getting eyebrow lifts with Botox
or an upper bluff.
Yep. And what is this one?
Oh, masseter, which I really want because TMJ.
Yes.
But you and I have talked about that where people are like, I don't want it because I don't want jowls. And I'm like, are you shitting me? I will take the jowls.
So for the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, if you have it done by, like, an actual dentists and nurses are taught different things when it comes to injecting Botox. But yeah, I agree. I just think that like uniqueness is cool.
I do think uniqueness is so cool. And yeah. So I'm like, whatever scars are cool. Like I have the scar on my breast for when I had a lump in my breast removed 2 years ago almost. And I never did like anything to try and reduce the appearance of it. But like I said, I try to be sensitive with it because I know for a lot of people that's like, oh my God, like my body has changed and it's never going to be the same.
Yeah.
But just know there's someone out there
that thinks it's
who
cool.
like loves your scars and think they're really cool. And like I have a friend who got double carpal tunnel and cubital tunnel surgery on both her arms. So she has scars on both her elbows and wrists. And she does not love her scars. But I think they're cool. And I don't ever notice them really.
No.
But she's like, oh, I feel like it's just like I can't wear short sleeves, especially after when she was recovering. But
yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
Before we get into today's topic, I have a question that I want to ask.
Me or the audience?
You, but everybody.
Okay.
Oh no. Okay. How do you visualize the year? When you are picturing, you're like thinking about the year, January to December, what does that look like to you?
So I'm like a grouper.
Okay.
I more am like a seasons than, like I do think January is the beginning of the year, but I'm December, January, and February are winter.
Okay.
For me.
Okay.
And then March, April, May are spring.
Okay.
And then June, July, August are summer. And then September, October, November are fall.
And when you picture them, are they in their groups? So this is how I picture
it in like a line, but like it is grouped by like brackets. Like,
okay,
there's a bracket of the winter months and there's a bracket of the spring and the summer and the fall.
Okay, so me and Thompson are talking about this and then I saw a TikTok about it. Because apparently everybody visualizes it different. Mine starts at January and then it goes, instead of like, because when you read, it's left to right. Mine goes right to left. And it starts it starts and it's going at like an angle. Okay. And so it goes January, February, March, April, May, June. And then around July, it takes like a turn. And then
like
it starts
a V
going
almost.
Almost. Okay. And then it finishes out. But I was thinking about it and I was like, oh my God, why do I picture the calendar going right to left instead of left to right? And I was like, was there something in my childhood that like I saw?
Yeah.
No.
Weird.
Just in my brain, it's always gone like this. And I'm like, well, because that's forward. But
and then you're turning around and ending out.
Yeah. Huh. But I was seeing on TikTok, a lot of people think of it the same way that you do.
Oh, interesting.
Some people say that December, it's like December is grouped with. Is that what you said?
December's grouped with January and February. Yes.
Yes. That's crazy to me.
That's crazy because I've never heard it. Like I've never seen that.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, because I'm very like season oriented as an individual.
Yeah. Yeah, to me there is like, I don't group it, but there is like a very defined break between like September and October.
Yeah. I can see that.
Anyways.
That's fun. Sound off. Okay, so we'll like, if you're watching on YouTube, and even if you're not watching on YouTube, go to YouTube and comment how you see the year.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, or you can let us know in Discord, but please comment on the YouTube.
I saw one that was crazy. Someone like they were drawing like graphs.
Oh,
like just the yellow brick road. It was very interesting. And Thompson, I think, views it as like I think he goes down in 2 columns, like January to June and then July to December.
Oh, that's crazy!
Isn't that weird?
You guys are weird. Now I have to ask Zach.
Yeah, ask Zach. Anyways,
that's cool. I like that. That was a little brain break.
Yeah, brain teaser.
Okay, so today we are going to be talking about rejection. And if you listened to last week's episode, I mentioned that I just went through the interview process for a promotion at my work, and I didn't get offered the position. Rejection. I was rejected. And that was just like kind of hard because I don't like face a lot of rejection per se in my life. It's more like bad luck or bad, like just like bad things happening. But like, especially now, and I'm not dating because I have my partner, I'm coupled up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't face a lot of rejection. So it's kind of hard to go through. And then I'm like, oh my God, like I haven't had to do this for a while. So,
Yeah. I also haven't had to deal with rejection in a while. I don't deal with rejection well at all. I like crash out like hard. Like hard. I feel like my most recent experience is probably like self-rejection, which not really, but like I feel like when I sense that I'm about to be rejected, I remove myself from the situation to avoid that.
Gotcha.
So I feel like that's been my recent experience. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, like I think the like examples in which I would experience rejection now are obviously with like a job or like, I don't know, like maybe like friend group wise or like, I don't know, like everyone does bids to try and connect with other people.
Yeah.
So I think like having your like bid to connect rejected is hard. Even though that's like a little thing, but that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I meet people at like Kaylee and Mariah's events, not saying like these people are rejecting me, but like, you know, like I'm meeting a lot of different personalities. You're not going to click with everyone.
No.
But then I'm like, oh, well, like I liked them, but like obviously we weren't clicking. So I'm like, those are more the rejection that I face now.
Yeah.
But then like I'm like, okay, like obviously in the past dating wise, I've been rejected. Not very often because I'm a Libra. Like Ellie and I would have the hardest time with the dating episode.
Oh,
because not to brag, but we're kind of girls who get what we want.
Yes.
I have not been rejected a lot in dating.
No.
But obviously I have been. But yeah, and then I think like outside of like work bids for like friendships, like relationships, I'm trying to think of like other ways I would have face rejection. Maybe like applying for like the mentorship I applied for. If I had got rejected from that, like that would have been something. But
yeah. I feel like those are the main things. Yeah, I feel like the social part is a big contributor, and it's like you said, it's like the small little things that you don't. I think that like I don't even know if I've ever fully thought about that as being rejection.
Yeah, because
like
it doesn't like
I'm kind of sitting here having like a crisis right now. Like, wait, is the reason I don't like to socialize for
being rejected?
Yeah.
I think that is so valid because I think there was a time, I feel like almost especially recently, where, and I said this last episode, where I'm like in a phase where I just think all my friends hate me.
Yeah.
And they don't. That's my own problem. I don't want to be cynical and like put that on my friends.
Right.
But like then that's me like not like sending a funny text to my friends that I would like maybe usually send them because I'm afraid that no one's going to think it's funny.
Yeah.
So it's like that's a like a personal form of I guess self-preservation.
Yeah.
So that you aren't.
Yeah. Okay, well I'm gonna have to talk about this with my therapist.
Okay. Yeah, bring that up.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about it a lot.
Well, and I think even like social media, like I don't know, it just you can really think this into the ground of like I'm not gonna post this because what are people gonna think about it and like stuff like that.
Yeah, wait.
Oh.
Wait, am I afraid of rejection a little bit? Maybe.
Are you gonna need to do rejection therapy? Well, and let's go into the specific example with my job. So not to get too into it, because I have told people at work that I have a podcast, but I don't know if they've ever checked it out. So if you work with me, like be a homie.
Yeah.
But this job that I applied for and interviewed for and didn't get, I'm really not like upset about not getting it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of layers to it. It's more of the build up to it. I was basically told about this position like 6 months before I like started interviewing for it, and like it was like implied that this was just kind of like a formality almost. And then I didn't get it. I was like, wait, what the fuck? So I don't know. And like, and everyone that I've asked that has asked me, like, how do you feel? I'm like, it's not like the pay raise or the position change. It's that this new role would have been more remote than I am now. I would have only had to go in once a month. Right now I have to go to like 2 or 3 times a week into the office. And so like, I think that was the hardest thing to come to terms with, was like, oh, like I'm gonna have to keep coming into the office until I find a different role.
Like you were mentally prepared to,
like, me eventually not be in the office as much as I am.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, oh my God, like I have to. That is something that I do, is I marry myself to an idea of something. I'm really bad about it.
I am
and
too.
My dad is like the same way. And so I think I get that from my dad. But yeah, like I will be like, oh, well, like in March or April, like I'm only gonna be coming in once a month.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I can make it through.
Yeah.
If I know I'm gonna eventually only go here once a month.
Yeah.
And then I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember probably a couple months ago, or maybe just a month ago, you were saying that you weren't gonna ask for a, what am I trying to say? A waterproof backpack for the rain because
I didn't think I was going to be going into
gonna
the
be commuting.
office. Yeah,
Sorry,
I'm
that
like,
took me a long.
no, you're totally good. Yeah, like I was going to ask for a waterproof backpack for Christmas, but then I thought I was going to maybe move into this role. So I'm like, I'm not going to ask for that because then I won't use it.
Yeah.
Well,
I would do the same thing.
now I'm probably going to need that. So yeah, like I felt like I was very realistic about it. Everyone at my work was like, it's just a formality, you're going to get it. And I was like, no, like I might not get it. So I do think I was realistic about it, but I also had this like kind of hope that it was going to work out, which I don't think is wrong.
But that wasn't like you were being like groomed for that hope.
Yeah, like I did additional.
Groomed is maybe a heavy word.
Groomed is kind of it's more, I don't even know, but like that is the word that people keep using, even though it does feel kind of heavy. Is like, I don't know, but yeah, like I took on additional responsibilities. I did additional training, and like, I don't know. And I'm not like faulting anyone at that. Like, yes, I do think that should have been approached differently, but I think like the person who did that is like, oh, like I should not have done that. And so I'm not like upset with anyone. And I'm not even at this, I'm honestly like that I've had time to process it. I'm kind of like glad it didn't work out. And, you know, I'm just like hopeful that there's something better out there for me. But I was talking.
There is. I can tell you.
Well,
actually,
it's hard because I was talking about it in therapy. And my therapist, she really makes me think sometimes. I was like, wow, I've never ever in my whole life thought of that. And I think about a lot of things. She said, in society, we are kind of like given this narrative that it'll all work out. Like it's all going to work out. It's all going to be fine. Like it didn't work out for a reason, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, do you feel like that's something that's helpful to you? And then I sat and thought about it, and I'm like, actually, no. Like, I don't think that is serving me, because I feel like that makes it so, like, I experience something like rejection, and then I'm like, whatever, it'll all work out. And so then I don't, like, fully process.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I'm just keep going through these
like
things,
waiting.
and then I'm not recovering from them, because then I'm like, it'll all work out. And then things get bad again.
Yeah.
And so she's like, she's like, this is going to be a heavy question and you probably won't have an answer for it, but what would you like your life philosophy to be? And I was like, oh my God. Because she's like, I love my therapist. She's so sweet. She's always like, can I share something personal with you?
Oh.
And so she doesn't feel like she's like,
you know,
biding my time or whatever. But she was like, honestly, like my life philosophy is that like, I can wake up tomorrow and it could be the best day of my life, or I could wake up tomorrow and it could be the worst day of my life, or it can be somewhere in between. Yeah. But that's just what happens. Yeah. And I'm not expecting it to get worse or better. Yeah. I was like, wow, that's crazy way. I'm like, that's a crazy way to live, girl.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's like late 40s, early 50s, I would guess.
And I'm sure as we age and go through different life experiences, like our life philosophies do change.
Oh, totally.
Because I am very much like, it is helpful for me to be like, things will work out.
Right. Something better is coming.
Yes. Because I ruminate hard and I will over and over and over. And so that thought is helpful to me to just like kind of be hands off and be like, okay,
Yeah.
I actually can't do anything about this right now.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I think that was like when I was thinking about it this morning on my way into work, because I have a long commute for different reasons. It's just because I take transit and it takes an hour to get to work, even though I'd say 5 to 7 minute drive.
Yep.
I was like, I just want to be in the space because, like, I don't know, the narrative of like that didn't work out because like something better's coming for you and blah blah blah.
yeah,
I'm like, or that could have worked out and it could have been really great.
absolutely.
You know, so it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to be like, and everything's fine because it didn't work out. And so like I just have to think about that. I'm like, okay, well, what do I want my philosophy to be with that? Because for me,
Yeah.
it's like thinking that everything's gonna work out isn't
helpful.
helping me.
Yeah. Which is valid.
Yeah. But I think it's good to take that time after like rejection to be really sad.
Yes.
Because I didn't feel like I could be sad because I'm like, I still work here.
Yeah.
You know? Like I did have I had a coworker call me and I just like cried on the phone to her, and I did call out of work the next day. I took a little mental health day. And is that when we went to Burgerville?
Yep.
On
Yep.
Friday?
Yep. Snow day. Yep. Right?
Yes. Ellie and I went to Burgerville.
Yeah.
So, and we took Emma cookies. Oh yeah, we took Emma cookies for
Oh,
Valentine's.
because it's Valentine's Day.
Oh my God, guys! Happy late Valentine's Day. The other
Wait.
episode did come out on Valentine's.
Yes. Okay.
I had a great Valentine's Day.
Yes. Same.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think it's important to take your time to be sad. But I think the most important thing that I did throughout this whole process was like, I'm the kind of person who experiences rejection and I'm embarrassed, and so I keep it to myself. I'm embarrassed about everything. Literally the other day when you and Thompson were over, and I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna ask this, but like I don't know, like does your toothbrush charger get dirty?
You can like, look right now, it's disgusting.
No, but like I'm like things like that. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so gross and I'm so dirty, and this must not happen to everyone else. And that's how I am with rejection, is that I'm embarrassed. So that's how I felt with this, is that like this is so embarrassing that I didn't get it, and I've been like talking about it and telling my friends about it and like all this stuff. But I think the best thing that I did was like I immediately told my friends.
Yeah.
Like I texted Zach and I texted our group chat with the girls, and I was like, excited to get it.
Yeah.
And then like everyone was so nice. Ellie sent me money. Kaylee sent me money.
That's how I express my love.
No, and I love that because then I can get a
sweet
frosted
treat.
brownie.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I think that was the best thing I could have ever possibly done, was being connected with other people. And I had posted about it on my close friends.
I cannot believe that was only a week ago. Sorry.
No, literally a week ago today. It feels like so long ago. Because I feel like I've like fully processed it, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, was it really? I'm old now.
It was on Thursday?
Yeah. Thursday morning I got the news. And then I called out next. But I had posted on my close friends, and I'm like, so I did not get the merch. I'm crying.
Update.
I'm doing like a peace sign and crying. And our friend Tyler responded to it. And he was like, I had seen him the day before at happy hour with Kaylee and Rachel and Zach. And he was like, I know exactly how you feel, because I forgot he had mentioned at happy hour that he had applied. He works at Dutch Bros, and he had applied for the like Mafia, which is like the ones that travel, and he's done it before. He's a shift lead at Dutch. They didn't even interview him. And he was like, I'm super bummed about it. And so he responded to my story. He's like, oh my God, this is how I feel. I was like, oh my God. Like, I just had a friend go through this that was rejected from something that they're 100% qualified for. And so it's like, but I wouldn't know that if I didn't share it with people.
Yeah. And it's also like, you think about that and you think like when you're thinking about embarrassment, like when he told you that, you didn't feel embarrassed for him?
No, and I didn't think there was something wrong with him. But for me, I'm like, there's something wrong with me. I'm a terrible candidate, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, which I think is, it's not fun, but I think it's normal to like have all of the questions, and we're just taught that everything is always our fault. So
Yeah, totally. But yeah, like when Tyler was like, I didn't get interviewed, I'm like, fuck Judge Rose.
Yes.
Like, you are perfectly qualified. You would have been a perfect person.
Which you are. And I feel like that was like the whole thing. Like when you were going through that last week it was just like, well, like if listeners, if you knew Anna in real life, Anna is like the most qualified person for any job. And so when you told us that you didn't get the job, it's like, but why? And we know why.
Yeah.
It just comes down to years of experience, which you can't.
No, I can't.
You don't have control of that.
I can't control that they had 19 years of experience.
Right.
And I have only been working as an adult for 8 years.
Right. You have
I'm only 27. I literally can't change that.
Yeah.
And so, like, the person had more experience. And so that's why I just went to someone else. And so, but still, yes, I was like,
And
so it's just hard. And then, and then again, I marry myself to the idea. So, I don't know. Do you feel like, I don't know, what do you do when you are going through rejection? Like, do you experience rejection with like clients ever in your work?
And actually I just recently had recently in the last 6 months had, because usually when I face rejection with clients, it's usually because, not to toot my own horn, not to be like, I don't ever have clients reject me, but usually it's like for the better for both parties. Like the project that they wanted to do wasn't really my style, or just for whatever reason, like I felt good about the fact that they were moving on with someone else. But yeah, probably like 6 months ago, I had a branding client reach out for a branding project that sounded really exciting to me. She was also going to be my like second client that was traveling like long distance to book with me, and so that was exciting. Her business, she was like a sound healing person, but like rooted in science, and so I was like, like that would have just been so cool.
That's like your niche.
Yes,
spiritually scientific.
Yes, literally. And she was very open throughout the process that she was also speaking with another photographer. And she ended up going with them for whatever reason. She didn't tell me, and it doesn't matter. I definitely am like the stages of grief though. Like when I face rejection, at first I'm like, oh, well, first I have to accept it.
Yes.
And then I'm angry. I'm like, well, like I was like, well, why did she even tell me that she was talking to another photographer?
I hope her photos turn out terrible.
I'm like looking, like, I don't know why she would ever listen to this, but she shared a Pinterest board with me. So it's like, I went with the other photographers. Pinterest board. And she was. So then I went and looked at the other photographer's work. And then I'm just like comparing myself. And I'm like, so then I get like sad. And I'm very much like, I'm like going through the stages of grief. But it's not my favorite quality about myself. But when I face rejection, I definitely do have like a angry face. And it's usually first. Like Anna said, in relationships, I haven't faced much rejection.
Yeah.
But I definitely have. And the times that I have, once I accept that the breakup is happening, I'm like flipping shit. Like not physically, but I'm flipping my shit. Like, and I think that also has a lot to do with the way that I hold things in, to keep peace. But I definitely crash out hard. And that is why I have a lot of ruined relationships. And this is something that I'm really working on. But like the people that I have had like friend breakups with or relationship breakups with, like we don't speak. We're on bad terms.
Okay.
Because I have become an angry person. And then I feel like I'm kind of the same as you though, is like once I kind of get through that, it's a pretty quick process.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of over it. Like I've gotten what I needed out, and then I'm done.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Well, and I'm trying to think back to like dating and facing rejection in dating. And of course there were people that I thought were cute and I wanted to date and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm the same way of like,
I just like wouldn't tell people who I was dating because then I was like, well, if they don't like me, then like I have to tell people that they didn't like me, and that's embarrassing that someone didn't like me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm like a hold it in, don't really talk about things until they're like a sure thing, except for with my close friends. Like I feel like I dream big with you.
Correct.
But like I do think like other people in my life, like I'm not really telling them about things till it's like 100% for sure.
Yeah.
And so like even me like, you know, being like, I don't know, maybe Zach will propose, blah, 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 blah. Like guessing, that's big for me for like guessing that, because if that doesn't happen, then, which I don't think proposals should ever be a surprise, ever. But I do think Zach and I will get engaged in the next year. But like I have hopes of when it will be. But then I'm like, oh, well, what if I tell people and then that date passes and then people are like, are you engaged? And then I have to be like, no. And I'm not like desperate to get engaged, but I just have like dreams of what it will be like.
Yeah, I kind of went through that when me and Thompson went to the East Coast. And I didn't think that Thompson, like, I am well aware of our situation, and not that our relationship's in like a bad space. We're in a great space right now, but we're just not really personally in the space to be getting engaged in the next year or so. We just have like real life things that we need to go through. But when we were going to the East Coast like 6 months ago, I wasn't thinking about it, but Thompson had asked what I was going to get my nails done for the trip. And he had asked what I was doing, and he was like, oh, I really liked when you did this like pearly thing, and so I was going to do that. And I was talking with our nail girl, which she's our friend, Savannah.
We're going to see her on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm excited. I was talking with her, and she was like, is he going to propose? And I was like, wait,
is he? Oh my God.
Like, I knew he wasn't, but like, of course there's a little part, like, I am just a girl that like getting married is like a dream to me. Like, I'm so excited to get married someday. And so there was a little part of me that was like, maybe. And then when I got home, it's just like, so did he propose? And I'm like, no.
Well, I'm sure that's hard as a nail girl of like, like, cause she did, Dre, who's a girl I used to coach with. I'm sure she doesn't listen to this, but if you did, hey Dre. And she just got engaged, and her first set of nails got done with Savannah were her engagement nails, because she's like, I think I'm gonna get engaged.
Yes.
And so she's like, I'm gonna keep coming back to you if I get engaged for like my like engagement pictures and like blah blah blah. And like, so she like knew. She's like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get engaged because we're going where we got like our first ever photos taken and like we're doing photos.
Okay, which this is getting off topic, but I have often thought about whether I want to, because I agree. So engage in a proposal should not be a surprise. We should be knowing that this is going to happen sometime
like the
soon.
idea of a proposal should not be a surprise.
Yes. You should be in agreement that you want to get married.
Aligned with your partner that you guys are like, okay, we're in the space where we're going to get engaged.
And I go back and forth between whether I want like the actual proposal to be a surprise, or I think it would be kind of fun to like know that like I'm getting engaged today. And I'm going to get ready with my friends. I'm going to pick out a cute outfit.
They're like, okay, we're going to take you to get your nails. Because then you're like, oh, I know what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's just cute. And I think that's the same thing for me, but I go back and forth of if I want a photographer there, because Zach is very private. And I don't want him to feel like he can't fully put on a show himself.
Yeah.
And also, like, I want to pose. Like, like if I know a camera is going to be there, like, I'm going to try and like, you know, fix my posture. And I just want to have a natural reaction, which I'm sure in the moment I totally would, even if there wasn't.
I was very anti-picture at proposal, like pretty much my whole life of thinking that I was going to get married to like every single person I've dated.
Yeah.
Same. But, and it's not necessarily that I want photos. I'm going to black out and I'm not going to remember.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, even
if
Thompson just sets up like a little camera so I can like rewatch it, like when for Valentine's Day, Thompson didn't give me a card. He rapped for me.
Yes.
And he was like, please don't record this. And I secretly recorded it because I was like, I need to remember this for the rest of my life. Like, I'm not going to show anyone.
No.
But I need to remember that. Because
that's like when we bought
in the moment right now.
Yeah. When I bought our plane tickets, I like recorded us buying them. It was the worst video. I'm like, I'm never going to post this because like we clicked purchase ticket and it literally took like 2 minutes for it to load. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But like, we got the notification that the payment went through. So I was like, what the fuck? And then the cats are meowing. Zach's annoyed at the cats. His Discord is going off. They're talking about magic cards. Like, and then finally I said, oh my God, we're going to Europe. How do you feel? And Zach wasn't like excited at all because we were annoyed with the cats. And so I'm like, great. But like, I'm glad to have that.
Yeah,
So,
that's
yeah,
a funny thing. But yeah. Anyways,
get back on the topic for
rejection. Yeah, I feel like,
but yeah, I'm definitely a person who just like, I'm gonna get embarrassed, and so I just like don't share things. I'm embarrassed about everything.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm embarrassed about everything. Okay, so this is going into what I'm about to say is like, now that we're talking about this, I'm pretty sure like I do just like remove myself from any situation where I might be rejected.
Yeah.
And like it's unfortunate. It gets into like my history and my trauma and like all of my unfortunate relationships that I've been in, but it's definitely like a learned trait that I have to like put up a guard. Whereas like before I was like, I miss being that way. Very like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah.
I don't like, I didn't really have a sense of embarrassment. And I was very much in a space of like, I'm only in control of myself. And so like, if there's outside things, like things that if I'm going to face rejection, I know that like, okay, I'm just in control of myself. So like, as long as I was good with my performance and whatever that situation was, like, then great. But because of, I don't know, the way that my 20s have gone, I definitely have more of a guard up and remove myself from situations before I can face that rejection. And I do that to this day in my current relationship, where if Thompson is having a bad day or is just a little bit more withdrawn for some reason, my immediate thought is like, oh my God, he's going to break up with me, or like something's wrong. I did something wrong. And then I withdraw.
Yeah.
Because like I need to be in control of that. Like if the rejection is going to happen, like I better be prepared to step out like a split second before the rejection is in my face.
Then I'm already fine.
I was talking about this actually with I started a new therapist today. And we were just going through like the histories and all that kind of stuff. And we were talking about jobs, and I have a history of quitting jobs because it ties into my mental health, because I was probably about to be fired from that job. But I quit always like right at the last second, because then I'm like, well, first, to be fired from every job is not good. But I still, having short-term employment history is not good either. But to me, it's like, well, I'm going to quit because then I don't have to face that rejection.
Yeah,
and I don't
you're
have
the
to
one in control.
Yes, I'm going to remove myself. So I'm writing this down to talk about with my therapist.
Your whole next therapy session is going to be... And it's funny because you were saying that. I'm like, oh, like I can actually... Not to be like, yeah, I can see that. But I can see that in like I'm thinking back to when we first met Mariah and Kaylee. And I feel like I was taking the charge of like starting that friendship. And now that we're friends and we're close and we like do all of our close friend things, like it's definitely different. Yeah. But I do like, I'm like, oh yeah, I totally was the one like putting myself out there and like trying to plan things and agreeing to things and getting you in on things. And then now that it's settled, you're like you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Well, and yeah. I think I should just talk about this with my therapist, because I really do feel like it applies to like a lot of, and I think it is also like rejection is a form of, well, can be considered a form of failure depending on your mind space. And so I think that there's also that plays into it, like with, I don't know, like with my photography job, like I am afraid of rejection or afraid of failure. So there's like a lot of big steps that I just don't take.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Like taking big leaps or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And out of fear of rejection.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Wow. We're really catastrophizing this right now. That's so funny. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. And I think now that I've like had this experience and like moving forward, like I think it's just like I just have to like remember to like lean on my friends and connect with my friends. Because like as much as we talked about uniqueness earlier, what I'm going through is not unique. Like everyone's been pretty much rejected from a job or a client or whatever. Like, everyone faces rejection. It's not unique to me, even though it feels so unique. And I'm like the worst person in the world. And so, yeah, I think that's important for me, like, moving forward. If I go through rejection, like, that's going to be the thing that I go to and I lean on. But I don't know. It's like a process of, like, the more I experience it, the better I will get.
Yeah, which is with anything. But hopefully you don't have to practice it too much.
I don't want that much more rejection. I don't know where I would. I mean, I feel like work is the only place I'll face rejection from here on out.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think back. I'm like, okay, like, have I experienced rejection medically? Have I experienced rejection?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And I totally have. But I guess, like, those things, I don't, like, look back and think of them as rejection. But I guess they are, like, some sort of form of, like, you know, you go to a doctor and you say, this is happening to me, and they're like, you have anxiety. And I'm like, wait, that's not it.
Hold on.
Wait, I don't think so. So, yeah, I mean, that's a form of rejection a ton of people experience.
Yeah. Or even, like a Uno reverse. That, like, that form of rejection is, like, even worse. Like, where you think, and I guess kind of like your situation is kind of like a Uno reverse, where you think that you have something, or like you think something's about to happen, or something did happen, and then it's like, just kidding.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
yeah.
Right?
Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking about mental health provider that I saw that gave me a diagnosis, and then, like, 2 sessions later, I was like, just kidding. And I'm like, oh, wait, but I think you were right the first time.
Wait a second. Yeah, and I feel like that's even, like, I got my like, autoimmune diagnosis, and then, like, I saw my doctor a couple more times, and they're like, we actually might want to look into this even more. I'm like, wait,
hold on, I just came to terms.
I just accepted this, and I'm like, oh my God, I have answers, and no, you're telling me I don't?
Oh.
Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, no reverse of it all. Yeah. Or, like, I mean, you can get even really literal with it, of, like, prior authorizations, and, like, your doctor being like, you need an MRI, and then your insurance denies it, and so you're being rejected by your insurance. But yeah, I don't know. And I don't feel like I experience a ton of, like, friend rejection, because I am just friendly to everyone. I actually think I'm the one doing more rejecting right now.
Yeah.
Because I don't really have the space / emotional capacity to add many more close friends to my circle.
Yeah.
I have my wonderful friends that I have right now, and I'm always going to be friendly, and I'm always going to be open to friends. But not. I'm so popular to everyone. Close friend.
I have to say no. Don't even ask me to be friends.
Oh no. And now I'm like, okay, what about rejecting?
I hate rejecting.
I am so not a rejecter.
I've had to get a bit more comfortable with rejecting lately, because I've been doing interviews for positions at work, and it's really uncomfortable. Every time I look at someone, I'm like, I've been you. Yeah. I see myself in your eyes right now.
And this is just like,
and
your potential livelihood.
No.
Yeah. Oh, no.
And then I've always had a hard time rejecting in my dating life, because I don't like people to be mad at me.
I'm also a person who's like, I see potential in everyone.
Oh.
And so I'm like, why would I reject you? Because this could be great if I just gave it a little bit longer.
Well, my problem is that I see potential for a moment, and then maybe I realize that the potential isn't there. But then I'm like, well, but we've already formed this relationship.
Yeah, I'm already too deep. Yeah.
So,
I totally get that.
Realizing on the second date that you don't like this person is, like, the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
Because after first date, okay, I'm just sending you a text and I'm like, hey, so sorry.
Yeah.
Second date, I've gotten to know you a little bit better, and, like, it's like, are we gonna go on a third date?
Yeah.
And so it's really difficult
when
someone is
rejecting
like,
after the second date is hard. Yeah. Well, yeah. I was gonna say, before we started recording, when I was on my way home from work, I'm like, I'm just gonna look up like rejection on TikTok because I'm like, I want to get other people's like points of views and stuff. But a lot of it was about dating, so I'm like, this is not applicable to me.
No.
But there was one quote that I saw that it was like, you can never say the wrong thing to the right person, which I feel like I generally agree with. And that's why I feel like I'm like in dating, especially, I'm like very open with who I am from the beginning. But also at the same time, I think that advice can get a little tricky.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to come in hot.
No. And yes, initially dating, yeah, you don't want to come in hot, and you are also still forming a relationship. So I guess is coming in hot. Like, you don't want to. There's a good pace.
Yeah, you gotta pace yourself. So, like, not saying, like, you would say the wrong thing.
No.
But there's just, like, an appropriate time when you reveal information to people versus... And not reveal information like you have a secret family or whatever. But, like trauma or...
The right person knows you, right? So, like, if on the first date, yeah, you're revealing trauma, they don't know you yet.
Yeah.
And so they don't know.
They're not familiar with your game.
Yeah. Give them time to understand what you're about.
To download.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like also further into relationships, like that quote, you still always want to be mindful of the way you're speaking to people.
Oh my God, absolutely. That doesn't mean you can just say whatever the fuck you want to people that love you.
Yeah.
And because they love you, they just have to accept it. I think it's more like... So
mouth weeping.
Hi, Booby. I think it's more like, I'm like, okay, like I agree with that in the sense that like nothing
there's
I
no
tell Zach
oversharing
about my life.
Yeah.
Because he's the right person, it's going to be the wrong thing to share.
Yeah.
Like, I of course could say something wrong. I could be a bitch, like, you know, but like nothing about me is so wrong to the right person.
Okay, what do you think about this? This is kind of getting off topic.
Okay, and you say it.
What do you think about this? When I was in my last relationship, because I've always been a very open book. Like, I'm telling you everything. Like, you know my deepest and darkest secrets. Of course, there's like a few things that I've never shared with anyone. But you know everything. I was in my last relationship. We had been living together. We had been together about a year, living together for about like 3 months. And he went on a trip, and while he was on the trip had lied to me multiple times. And then like when he got home, I realized he had lied to me and also withheld the truth. I was talking to my therapist about it, and she was like, of course, like the lying isn't cool. But she was like, it's okay for your partner to have secrets and to not tell you everything. And I've thought about that since. It's been like 3 years. So I think about that all the time. Because like, yes, you don't have to share everything. But like, if you're in a long-term relationship with someone where you are like not telling me everything, like what?
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I have things that I have only ever told my therapist.
Yeah.
Like, there's something that I shared with Zach recently that even my close friends don't know, really. My therapist knows. And it's not something I'm looking to share. But, like, I don't know. Because I felt like I didn't share and I didn't share and I didn't share. And then I'm like, oh my God, we've been dating almost 4 years.
Yeah.
Is this just, like, crazy to drop? And then it's like,
Anna-Lore.
Like, I told him that. And then he was like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and he was like, upset at the other person in the situation, but like, yeah,
because he loves you.
Yeah, because he loves me and cares about me. So that's like, you can't ever say the wrong thing. But yes, like your partner can have secrets. I think that is similar to something my therapist said to me recently, where Zach and I got in our first fight ever, and I told her what he had said, and I'm like, that really hurts my feelings. And she's like, but I think it's a really good sign when your partner feels open enough to share with you some like internal like worries that they may be having about your relation. And guys, we were not like on the brink of breaking up or anything. We have never been on the brink of breaking up. But it was like, she's like, I think your partner sharing their concerns like about taking steps and things like that is like great. I think she's like, and I think it would be weird if neither of you had any concerns about moving forward. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess like that's true. Like I'm sure, like not even I'm sure, I know that there's some things that I'm like, okay, but what if this gets in the way of things in the future or whatever. But I feel like it's almost similar to that. Yeah. That like it's okay for him to have concerns. Yes. Yeah. And be mindful of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think about that all the time because like there are just like that specific situation was stupid. It was they were in Vegas, so it was just about stupid like
Vegas
stereotypical Vegas things. Yeah. But there's just things that like questions that sometimes I want to ask like Thompson, and not that I feel like I can't, but I'm like I have that my old therapist voice in the back of my head being like, oh well, like maybe if he wanted to share he would have already shared, or like
no, because then I feel like you should be able to ask your partner whatever.
Yeah.
And they are an adult, and that's what I keep using this phrase, especially now that I'm like gonna be in my I'm already in my late 20s. Of like, they are an adult and it's their responsibility to communicate that to me. Yeah. So if I said to Zach or whatever, or to you, I asked you something that you really didn't want to share, that's your responsibility to share that.
Yeah.
And to be like, I know you maybe want to know that information for some sort of like anxiety soothing or whatever, but like, I don't want to share that information.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay.
Real. Be an adult.
Literally.
Speaking of age, is Zach gonna be 30 this year or 29?
30. He gonna be 30. I'm planning Zach's birthday.
Yeah, I want to know the plan.
I'm really excited. I just booked an Airbnb, and he'll know.
Is it the plan that you've had for a while?
Yeah. So he knows the dates, and because I had to be like, okay, I already invited, including us, 6 people, and we can only have 8 people. So I'm like, you get to his birthday, you get to invite 2 more. And so we were just talking about who else he would invite. And he's like, yeah, I told them to just like reach out to you. I'm like, yes, exactly. Do you have any other ruminations of the week you feel like you need to get out?
No, just that I went back to work this week and everybody has kids and so everybody's sick. And so I've just been thinking about that 24/7. What else have I been thinking about this week?
Well, last night I broke our pitcher, our water pitcher that we have, and we like fill up the cat water. Broke it last night, and it shattered in a way that all the pieces were so tiny and went everywhere. So I had a little panic attack and got a piece embedded in my finger.
Of course.
And I made Zach check all the cat's feet. And then after that, I put cookies in the oven and I overcooked them, and they were rock hard. So I had a terrible night last night. And then I FaceTimed Thompson at one point and Ellie at one point.
We could sense it.
Yeah.
I've been thinking a lot about as well Emma Chamberlain and her ex-boyfriend and her current boyfriend and how they're like just the same boy, different font. Just been thinking a lot about that. And a lot about Alex Earl because she did her friend's like 24-hour birthday party.
Oh, you mean like they were all on coke the whole time?
Yeah.
That is not normal.
No.
I don't, like, everything you see on social media like that, that's not normal and healthy.
No.
That's not good for you.
And I've also been thinking, do I want to say this?
Yeah. Say it. Is it someone we know or is it a creator?
No, it's just like name dropping. I was just going to say that I've also been thinking a lot lately how I'm 1 degree of separation away from John Summit.
Oh, yes. Like, you could have easy access to John Summit.
Like, literally, like, last weekend, I probably could have met John Summit if I was available.
Yeah.
If I was able and willing.
If you were available.
Yeah. I wasn't available to
I'm
meet
with
John
the aliens.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been thinking a lot about that, too. Like, my life could be so different.
Yeah.
If I just, like, made a couple changes. What if I got, like, really hot?
Or, like, put yourself out there where you might be rejected. And with that, and that's how we can do a close. I'm trying to think if I had any, like, ruminations of the week. I definitely had, like, a couple earlier. like before I had therapy, and then my therapist asked me what my life philosophy was, kind of threw
And
it
that
all
kind
off course. I think, yeah, I don't really know. I'm not sure. Moki, what about you? Moki? Oh, I think we got it, folks. All right, well, we can go ahead and wrap up.
Okay.
Thank you for listening / watching.
Yes.
Please make sure that you follow us and rate us on Spotify.
Yes, please. It
And
helps.
please subscribe to the YouTube and watch on YouTube and like and comment
Yes.
and share. And this is how we like are building our podcast.
Yes.
And this is Smokey's eyes are open and looking at me.
And he's snoring.
But yeah, support your local small
Support
podcast.
your local podcasts.
Yeah. Yep. I don't think we have anything else. But if you have, if you would like to talk about how you see the year, if you would like to talk about how you handle rejection, if you would like to talk about your rejection like style, if you avoid it, put it in the comments on YouTube.
And how many degrees of separation you are from your favorite artist.
I don't know anyone who's like met Taylor Swift.
But maybe you know someone who knows someone who's met her.
You guys
Special
see
ending.
it?
If you made it to the end of this episode,
Coraline came out. For people who don't know, Coraline's Ellie's three-legged cat with no teeth, and she's like very skittish.
Yes.
And she never comes out.
Hi, sweetie.
When I'm here. Sometimes she does, but she came out.
And she can jump up. Hi, sweetie. Hi, sweet girl. You have anything to say?
Oh. Don't whine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Coraline lore. We don't know what happened to her, but some sort of injury where they had to amputate her arm and she had a broken jaw. And then she was given to the county and they were going to euthanize her. But the Oregon Humane Society has a second chance program. So then they took her in, amputated her arm, also pulled out all of her teeth because she has stomatitis.
Mm-hmm.
And so now she's my three-legged toothless kitty.
And she weighs under the bed.
Mm-hmm. And she's so scared because something happened. Maybe she got hit by a car. Or maybe she's afraid of rejection. You afraid of rejection, honey?
Okay, so cute. Okay, guys.
Okay,
well,
anyways.
we will see you next Friday. Hopefully, it's going to be the episode with my nephew. Just got to confirm times with his mother.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.